Hello, welcome to the Countryside Kitchen Meets, a food and farming podcast. I'm Milly Fyfe, your host. I'm a mum of two, farmer's wife, food producer, and passionate about flying the flag for British food and farming. Today, we'll be chatting to Yorkshire pig farmer Kate Morgan, who you may have seen on screen recently after she hit the headlines championing the Save Our Bacon campaign. Then I've got a few time-saving hacks when it comes to mealtime preparation, meaning you can juggle family life with the children and cook a tasty, nutritious meal too. Okay, so today I have passionate pig farmer Kate Morgan with me, who has shown true leadership in highlighting the plight of the British pig industry. Her heartfelt pleas on live TV and across the media have helped to bring real issues to the forefront of people's mind and the impact that has on her life on the farm, as well as other pig farmers across the country. Hello, Kate. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Hey, you've been really busy recently, haven't you? What have you been up to? How or why has the Save Our Bacon campaign been so important?
Yeah, we've been really, really busy. It's been a really challenging time for the pig industry. We've got a massive amount of pigs backed up on farm, which has made our job really difficult, basically. The processors have a lack of butchers, and so they're unable to take our contract number of pigs that we send in every week. And so pigs are basically backing up because we've got pigs being born every week on our farm, and unfortunately we can't turn that tap off. And so the pigs are staying on farm for a lot longer than what they should do, and it's causing us so many problems. And obviously they're growing all the time as well. So it's really challenging.
Yeah, and obviously that has a huge financial impact on yourselves, doesn't it, with feed costs and staffing as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect storm because not only have we got the issue of getting the pigs to the processor, we've also got really expensive feed that we're having to buy, and we're having to buy more of it than what we've ever had to buy. And so that's crippling us. And my guys that work with us, who are all doing an amazing job and pulling out all the stops, but we're putting pressure on them. We're asking them to do more than what they've ever had to do. And, you know, it's just making us all, it's wearing us all out, I think, is quite a good way of putting it.
And what's the solution? We obviously need more labour within the supply chain. Is that the answer?
Well, on the front, yeah, that does look like that's the answer. However, we don't, as a farmer, we don't get to really hear what the actual issue is. Government put a package for us in October, and it's now December, middle of December, and that package hasn't actually helped us at all. It's not helped the farmers at all. And so we're really pleading with the government to actually follow up and find out why the processors aren't using the package that they've put together, and basically to speak to some farmers and find out on the ground, because we're the ones that are suffering, and it's not our fault. None of this. We are just fulfilling our contracts that we've got. That's all we're doing. We're doing what we are meant to do. And as a result, it's actually crippling our businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously the headlines have been that you've had to slaughter healthy pigs that should have gone into the supply chain. And actually what's really worrying is that when you go in the supermarket at the moment, there's lots of foreign imports, yet we have our own food supply here, but it's basically going in a bin.
Yeah, and it's disgusting. It's an absolute, I just cannot actually put it into words. We're very lucky. We haven't actually had to kill any of our healthy pigs on farm. We've done that through a lot of juggling and probably put our whole system under a lot of pressure that will pay that price for probably a couple of years to come because of the health of the animals. Up to now, they're reporting about 30,000 pigs, healthy pigs, have been killed and wasted. And like you say, you go into the supermarket and you can't see British produce there. And that's disgusting because we've got issues on British farms. We've got starving people in Britain, and the government are happy for us to waste this product. And that is just so criminal. And they're bringing in EU products that has got higher food miles. The welfare probably isn't the same as what it is over here. It's just, none of it makes sense.
No.
And there's nothing that we can do, or it doesn't seem like it. We're shouting as much as we can.
Yeah.
But we're not getting anywhere.
No, you've done incredible. I know you've been on TV and on the radio, and that sort of hit all around the world, really. And, good on you, because you have to stand up and be, and tell it like it is. And those heartfelt pleas have been listened to in a way. But actually, what needs to now happen is you need to see change, don't you? You've told everybody what the problem is. And now you need the people along the supply chain and government to kind of back that up, really, do something about it. Otherwise, the pork industry in the UK is just going to be sailed up the river.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's been the most emotional time I think I've ever had. I'm not an emotional person, and I've spent weeks crying because I am so passionate about what I do. I love my animals, and yes, ultimately they are going into the food supply chain, but I'm doing that because there's a demand for them, and for them to be wasted for no fault of our own. And it's just, the government just need to make sure that the supply chain is operated the way it should be operating, because at the moment, certain people in that supply chain are making millions.
Yeah.
And the British farmer is losing so much money. And like you say, we won't be here for much longer. And then all of your pork in the supermarkets, in your restaurants, everywhere will be foreign, and there'll be no traceability there.
No, exactly. And the reason why they're being slaughtered rather than going to the supply chain, is a lot of the time because, like you say, the pigs are in pig. You're having lots more pigs, and a lot of farms don't have the luxury of space. So they're only producing as much, they're at capacity, aren't they? So when there is this problem within the supply chain, you can't hang on to the pigs, can you? It's not like you can just carry on feeding them, or, you've got an extra barn to put them in, or, if they're outdoors, you've got an extra fit, whatever it is. You don't, you farm to your capacity, surely.
Yeah, exactly. We're a business at the end of the day. We've got to be efficient. And so we have to use the space as efficiently as we possibly can. And so, yeah, it's a really tight run ship. I know next year where my pigs are going that are being born. I know which shed they're going into. And when something like this happens, that's totally out of our control, it puts everything, the whole system under pressure. And yeah, they keep growing and we keep feeding them. But then they get to a certain size and the processor doesn't want them because they don't fit in the retailer packet.
Yeah.
And so then they don't really pay us any money for it. And so a problem that they're then penalising us for as well. It's just every way that you look, it's a farmer that's losing out.
Yeah. It's wrong. It's so wrong. It really is, because it is consumerism as well, isn't it? In the sense that everyone, it's provided neatly packaged up in that carton or container, and nobody likes that fat, or it's got to be presented in a certain way. And I think we need to get back to our roots, really, in terms of shopping locally, buying from a butcher, or the supermarkets listening to the farmers and actually saying, look, this is crippling our businesses. Do you want to buy from British producers, or and to the consumers, really? If you don't support the farmer locally, then like you said, the welfare standards are going to be hugely compromised, and also the air miles. And there's so much more of an element or emphasis on sustainability, isn't there, these days? And you mentioned about efficiencies as well. Well, surely it's a lot more efficient and sustainable to support a local community, a local business, and a local supply chain than one that your meat or your vegetables, wherever it is, comes from the other side of the world. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all. I think that's a really easy message to get as well, is that actually buying British produce, you've got lower food miles. We do produce food throughout the year. We've got to look for seasonal food. We've just got to change our habits a little bit. And yeah, support, because it's supporting the local economy. You know, the British countryside will not look like it does today if there's no British farmers.
No, exactly. There's some really good take-home messages there, and I hope everyone listening really takes heed of this. I'm sure they will, but you know, it's a really pertinent subject at the moment, and something that I want to sort of try and elevate with your help, Kate, and you're doing amazing work. So, but tell me about your backstory. Have you always been involved in pig farming?
So mum and dad actually bought where they live now in 1996. Before then, they were contract farmers. So I was about 14 when we moved here, and we started pig farming. And I went to university. And when I finished university, I travelled for a bit, did ski season. I actually drove a HGV wagon for quite a long time, delivering liquid fertiliser and things like that. Tried marketing, but really didn't like being in an office all the time. And then, kind of stumbled back home. They were short-staffed on the farm, and I went to help, and I've never been allowed out since.
That's it now. It's a rite of passage by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Oh, so how many pigs have you got? Or how many do you normally rear?
So we have a breeding herd that's got 1,700 breeding sows, and then we also buy in some piglets from another company. So we're finishing about 90,000 pigs a year.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow.
Quite a lot, really.
Yeah. And who do you supply?
We supply straight to the processors, so two big processors. So we don't have a direct contract with a supermarket.
Right. Okay. So people can't buy from you direct as such. You're basically tied into contracts and things.
Yeah, we are at the moment.
Yeah. So, but do you ever have a pig back for yourself, or?
It's funny you should say that. This week we killed quite a few pigs and gave them to family and friends, and I've got about 25 farmers that do bed and breakfast for our pigs. So I always give them some meat for Christmas to just say thanks for all the work they've done.
Yeah.
So
nice.
We do. Obviously, we've got a lot of extra pigs, so we have tried to get rid of them.
Yeah. No, bless you. Yeah. No, that's well. We're on such a smaller scale here in terms of pigs. I normally have 3 Gloucester Old Spot pigs, and I just do them for our freezer and for a few family and friends, but it's still nice, isn't it, to be able to enjoy your own produce and to
know that you've looked after them the best you can, and they've had a good life, and it does. I think it's really rewarding.
Yeah, definitely. And you're a busy mum like me, and what do you like to cook for the family? What inspiration can you provide to my listeners in terms of no fuss meals that anyone can cook?
Always rushing, so everything is a bit of a throw in a pan or a tray. So I'm a big tray bake fan of chucking in sausages and peppers and lots of vegetables and chucking it in the oven, really, or chicken thighs or something like that. Yeah, basically anything that you can chuck in and leave for an hour and then come back to it. Really good sausage with cherry tomatoes. That's a really good one.
Oh, amazing. Oh, you'll have to share the recipe with me. But I guess if you just throw it all in, put some tomato passata or something in with it and let it bubble away, and it'll feed an army then, won't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm also quite keen to make big meals, and then I can either freezer it or I can have it a couple of days later with pasta instead of potatoes or something like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm on the same wavelength as you with that, definitely.
Life's just so hectic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You want to feed the kids well, but you don't have the time to do it. But if you can just throw stuff together and just let it bubble away. Oh, I'm a huge fan of it. Put it in the bottom oven or a slow cooker, and jobs are good in then, isn't it?
And most of the time it turns out pretty well, I think. As long as your ingredients are high quality, then most of the time you can make something that's pretty tasty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. No, I'd agree with that. How can people find out more about you, Kate? And can they follow you on social media?
Yeah, I am on Twitter at KateMorgan24. Had to think about that. And I'm on Instagram, but not that good on it. I guess I do try and tweet quite a lot, and I'm really passionate about people buying British produce. And so we've launched a Bite into British campaign to try and get people to just think about, and it's made me think about what I buy. I used to be really bad at just buying Pink Lady apples because I really like them. And actually, since we launched the Bite into British, I've started buying British apples. And, I've lowered my food miles. I think about everything that I buy now. Yeah. And that's coming from a farmer that I thought I was pretty good before. But now I think, why do I need to buy something that's been produced halfway around the world? Like, why do my kids need raspberries at this time of year? They don't. Or blueberries? They don't. And so I've really adapted what I'm buying. And you know what? It makes you feel a bit better about yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Aldi are really good, I find, for you'll be able to sort of shop in season a lot better, aren't you? And I know I'm exactly the same as you, and especially when you do an online shopping order as well, you don't necessarily realise, or they don't realise what they're putting in the shopping basket. You can get it home, you get it, and you're like, blimey, that packet of grapes has come from Peru or something.
I know.
What? Yeah, but at least like Aldi have got some really lovely apples at the moment, and they are British, which is brilliant. Yeah. And it is just being a lot more mindful, isn't it? And I've been exactly the same as you. Sometimes you don't even realise. And I think if we're like that and we are food producers, the rest of the general population, I mean, everyone just needs to eat, and it needs to be accessible to them. And I suppose one of the things that I'm coming up with a bit of scrutiny against is British food affordable? And I think it depends what your priorities are in terms of what you mean by affordable, because if it means that you're feeding your family well, then surely that should be a huge priority. Whereas if you're spending your money on all sorts of other things, whether it's Sky TV or whatever it is, then it is sort of looking at budgets, but also making it affordable, or making meals that are affordable using British produce.
I think that's it as well. If you actually cook things from scratch, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And I'm all for, people, if they need to eat less meat, I'm all for that, as long as you eat a good quality meat, where it's come from, I think that's more important. I do think that we should be questioning why and how that we can get products from halfway around the world and put it on the shelf cheaper than our own produce. It is crazy. And that has to be a job of the retailers and the government to be questioning why that is happening, because to me that is not correct.
No,
they maybe don't meet all the legislations and the environmental aspects that we have to meet over here, but even more reason why we shouldn't be importing it then.
No, exactly. And the impact that has on the environment too, and climate change, it's sort of all part of that bigger thing. And I know especially with livestock farming, especially, everyone's pointing the finger at us, whereas really, is that correct to do that? It's really worrying.
Yeah, we've been farming animals for a very long time, a lot longer than we've been driving cars and things like that, flying aeroplanes.
Definitely. And often they're part of the solution rather than the problem, aren't they, with the manure that they produce, and that helps to fertilize the crops, and the carbon sequestration and all that cycle. It helps.
I know, and that's another thing with the Bite into British campaign, is that it's inclusive. It's everybody. So it's the vegetarians, we all need to eat. So let's eat. Let's just support the British farmer, because all we're trying to do is provide you with safe, healthy food.
Yeah.
Be it vegetables, fruit, meat, dairy.
Yeah.
We just want everybody to have safe food.
Definitely. And that Bite into British, that's the hashtag Bite into British, isn't it? That people can use on social media when they're enjoying a meal. They can take a photo, can't they? And share.
Yeah. That would be really good if people do it.
Yeah, definitely. And also the Save Our Bacon campaign, that was a hashtag. You've got an account actually, haven't you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And look out for new activity happening in January.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here are some time-saving hacks you can all try. I love to use ready roll pastry. There is no shame in buying it and saving your time and effort. What's more is that it comes complete with a sheet of baking parchment, so more time, saves you most of the time, and keeps the baking tray clean. Whether it's short crust, puff or sweet, I love to get the kids involved with a bit of baking using the ready roll pastry. An easy recipe to consider is mince pies. Roll out your sheet of puff or sweet pastry, cut 12 circle discs for your base and place on your greased muffin dish. Spoon 1 tablespoon of mincemeat into each base, then cut out 12 stars with the remaining pastry and place on the top. Sprinkle with a little bit of sugar and egg, put in the oven for 20 minutes and voila, easy. And another tasty treat I've been whizzing up with the kids in a flash, sausage rolls. Obviously, we have to talk about sausage rolls. Line out your puff or short crust pastry, cut in half horizontally. Get your sausage meat. I tend to squeeze out meat from sausages, 8 sausages, or you can buy obviously sausage meat, especially at this time of year from your butcher. I make 2 thin snakes across the pastry, brush the pastry with egg, fold over to cover, crimp the edge with a fork and brush with egg. And then I sprinkle with Parmesan cheese and sesame seeds, and then cut into small sausage rolls. And that will help to allow them to cook evenly. And then place in the oven for 25 minutes until the pastry is brown. And then what I normally do is cover them over with some foil and put them back in the oven for about 25 minutes, just to ensure the sausage meat is cooked all the way through. And that is amazing. They don't hang around for long. I'm sure that'll be the same in your household, Kate.
Yeah, sausage rolls are a must, definitely.
Oh, definitely. And in season right now, leeks. Lovely, lovely leek. I grow a few in my garden, and this season they've done pretty well. When you grow them from seed, the plants are so thin and tiny that you can automatically smell that they are part of the onion family when you plant them up. They're tiny little wispy seedlings, and I never know how, I'm just so amazed at how these little tiny things grow into such chunky green vegetables, and they're amazing. And they can be harvested from November until February. I tend to wash them thoroughly. I chop them finely, and I often use them in a pasta dish, maybe bacon, cream and pasta for a carbonara. That seems to go down well. Or leek and potato soup. Who couldn't resist that winter warmer? How does that sound, Kate?
Sounds delicious. You're making me feel hungry.
Oh, I know. Oh, I love talking about food. Me
too.
Oh, amazing. Okay. Right, I think that's all we've got time for today. Don't forget to tune into the next episode of the Countryside Kitchen Meets on the 1st of each month. You can subscribe on all of the major podcast streaming platforms. Thank you so much for joining me, Kate. It's been incredible to chat to you, and keep up the amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.